What's going on, people? So today I'm going to be talking to you guys about the Kingdom Hearts 3 ReMIND DLC, but before we get into that, man, it just dawned on me that we're coming up on a year and a half since the release of Kingdom Hearts 3. Now, to those wondering why that's so significant, it's just a video game. It's honestly what it represents, because for many of you, I'm sure you're in the same boat as I am, this was a game that we waited close to half our life for. And for me specifically, it's part of the reason that I'm on YouTube today. Well before Part 3 was even in development, I was here on YouTube, prepubescent, going into puberty Neo, talking about some of the worlds I'd like to see, theorizing and speculating on some of the characters that'll show up in this grand finale, the battle of good versus evil, 13 dark versus 7 light. It was honestly a journey. It really was. It spanned my elementary days in school, middle school, high school, college, playing through every single side game, midquel, prequel, sequel. That's not really a sequel because it doesn't have a number in the title, but it has a lot of story exposition that's really crucial. Capping off everything with Part 3, the end of the Xehanort saga. It truly felt like the end of an era. But as many of you know, Kingdom Hearts 3, while an emotional experience, was also a colossal disappointment to me. Now, I'm not going to get into all the reasons why. I actually have a video down below in the description box. But the best way I could summarize it is it lacked the heart and soul of the previous mainline Kingdom Hearts games. And for me, it came down to not even wanting to revisit Kingdom Hearts 3. Not for a critical mode run, level 1, even with the balance patches and some of the other free updates. It just didn't feel the same. So a subscriber, an overall cool dude by the name of Corey Gryffindor, he actually donated for me to play ReMIND because he honestly wanted to get my full perspective on it. And I have mixed feelings about going out there and purchasing post-release content to fill in the gaps, the problems of the main game. But I said, you know what, I'm a man of my word. Okay, I'm going to stream through the experience. And I did. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to be talking about the story portion of Kingdom Hearts 3 ReMIND. There's actually two. There's the expanded finale, if you will. We'll get back to that later. And then there are the data battles where you can go ahead and fight all of the Organization 13 members in addition to a secret boss fight. So talking about the story of Kingdom Hearts 3 ReMIND. Let's just rewind a sec back to my overall thoughts on Kingdom Hearts 3. Out of all the things that happened in Kingdom Hearts 3, the ending, while it wasn't a make or break deal breaker to me like a lot of people, I felt as if it left a lot to be desired. Like a lot of the things in Kingdom Hearts 3, you have all this epic buildup, the culmination of all these games, all the time that has passed, the end of the Darkseeker saga. It just feels like it ends with a whimper rather than a bang. There was a lot of things that went on that were frankly unearned. There were a lot of characters who you actually wanted to get more development and screen time, and they didn't get it. But the ending overall as itself, I was just like, you know what? It's whatever. That's Tetsuya Nomura's creative vision. That's what he wants to do. He's been writing the games for the longest time. Whatever. So they come out with ReMIND, and their goal with ReMIND was to actually fill in the gaps to some of the stuff that happened during the finale, because the finale had some really confusing tidbits. There were things that happened, and I'm trying to avoid getting into spoilers here the best I can, so I know it's going to sound all over the place. There were things that happened with certain characters that when you get to the final part of the finale, you're just like, okay, how did that happen? Can we get some backstory on that? And that's what they did. So the DLC's main focus is to explain to you how one character came back. That's it. So for any of y'all who are expecting this to fill in the gaps and give more exposition to a lot of characters, it really doesn't do that. Like, certain characters have new lines of dialogue, and there's a couple of new cutscenes here and there. But for the most part, Kingdom Hearts 3 ReMIND's story scenario is just a retread of the Kingdom Hearts 3 finale that you've already played. Yeah, I hate to burst the bubbles of anyone who's expecting this to be some grandiose overhaul. Now, there are a couple of divergences here. It's not a complete one-to-one retread of that story. There's a couple of boss battles that you don't do in the ReMIND DLC. You actually do new variants of it. So in that respect, I can give it some kudos and props. But the other big story selling point was being able to play as multiple characters, which is something that we all wanted in Kingdom Hearts 3, and they did not give us. So in this one, you can play as Roxas, you can play as Riku, and you can also play as Kairi. Those are the big selling points because, they were hyping up like, yeah, you have all these Keyblade warriors and you really can't play with them. Playing through the characters in this game, while I do appreciate and I loved taking control of like Kairi, because Kairi is honestly a character that has had zero relevance in the series. Her whole goal and purpose was just to get kidnapped and Sora to save her. Standard trope. Playing through as her was honestly a lot of fun. I really did enjoy it, but you only play as Kairi for one fight. And this goes back to my main problems when it comes to Kingdom Hearts 3's story. The combat as a whole for the base game was insanely easy. I think I only died a handful of times. When you're playing through ReMIND, provided you don't screw up and you pay attention, the battles are very easy and you can pretty much just, I don't want to say button mash your way through, but you don't really have to worry about dodging and blocking and all that stuff. So I appreciate them letting you play as the other characters, but it's for such a short amount of time that you're left wanting more. You just want more opportunities to play as them. Because it's kind of like how in Kingdom Hearts 2, where you played as Riku in the final encounter with Xemnas. Riku had a move set, but it wasn't a full move set. Or when you played as Mickey, whenever Sora died and sometimes Mickey would come in to save him, you had the opportunity to play as Mickey, but it wasn't a full move set. That's kind of what they did in ReMIND, but they added about 20% more to it. So that's cool. I like it, but really? That's it? You're just letting us play through the boss fights that we already played through, with the exception of the Kairi boss, which is completely different. So in terms of this being an entirely new package, where you're getting new content that's really going to make or break, change your opinion on Kingdom Hearts 3, it's really not. It fills in the gaps on some specific aspects, but more often than not, it's just added exposition. It's the standard Square Enix just exploding in your face all this dialogue and things that happen that they expect for you to care about. It honestly sort of feels like damage control. You know what I'm saying? Like with Kingdom Hearts 3, they didn't do a good job of explaining stuff the first time. Things were absent entirely. And then when you get into this game, we're just going to tell you everything leading up to that in a cutscene. It's like, that doesn't feel organic whatsoever. So I guess you could say it came down to the overall execution. I just feel like they didn't hit the mark on that. But as a whole, this whole DLC, when you strip away the ability to play as the different characters and that new story content, there's one bit that was really hyped up, and that was the ability to explore Scala at Kylum. It was something that was really interesting in the base Kingdom Hearts 3, but you never got a chance to explore it. You're really only there to finish up the finale. In this version, you can explore Scala at Kylum. It's very big, and it's nice to appreciate the design and the architecture, but it's so barren. It's literally big for the sake of being big. It has no redeeming aspects to it. But again, that just goes back to another problem with Kingdom Hearts 3's world as a whole. They're big for the sake of being big. There's no substance attached to them. And then when you get to the end of the game, you're left wondering, damn, was that really worth $30? Because it's honestly just a glorified director's cut of things. And it requires you to have played through the entire ending of Kingdom Hearts 3. So it's just adding on, explaining how this character got back, but it doesn't explain all the other things that you wanted to know. So you're left sitting there like, that's good, I guess, but this was also a good, 4 hours of playtime. The majority of the 4 hours are cutscenes. There's a couple of new battles here and there with some Heartless and things like that, but as a whole, you're just sitting down and watching cutscenes. Which, if you appreciate the production value and you can get through the really cringe hit or miss voice acting in the Kingdom Hearts games, I guess you'll find some enjoyment, but there's not enough new story content to warrant going through so much regurgitation. That's my honest viewpoint on the Kingdom Hearts 3 ReMIND. I didn't feel like it added much to it. It was just kind of like, well, if you're a really, 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 really hardcore fan, you'll get more of it, but for the general player who had grievances and gripes with the games, it's just like, eh. Now, the second part of the DLC, I admittedly haven't gone through, and those are the data battles. Now, this I think is the main meat and potatoes, the selling point of Kingdom Hearts 3 ReMIND, because like in Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, you have the ability to fight through all of the organization members, and there's also a secret battle that is touted as the hardest boss in Kingdom Hearts 3 history. Now, I haven't gone through those data battles for a very specific reason, because my character of Sora is insanely under-leveled. By the time I finished Kingdom Hearts 3, the base game, he was around the high 30s, and I had no desire whatsoever to level him up, considering the game didn't really offer a challenge, and it didn't really give me an opportunity to want to max out my character. The game was ridiculously easy as it is, so why would I want to go and max out my character? Just to get this, or for completion's sake? So if I did want to do the data battles, I would have to max out Sora. I would have to go ahead and unlock some kind of Keyblades, because from what I'm hearing, people in the community, they are ridiculously tough. So everything that people wanted from the Kingdom Hearts bosses, at least in part 3, those are those bosses. You really have to focus on learning the combat system. You can't just rush in there and butt mash like crazy. So in order to do that, it's going to take me a while to go back and, max out my Sora and then do a critical run and all those things. But I'm excited to actually dive into those because, like I said, it was one of my biggest criticisms with base Kingdom Hearts 3. It just wasn't that challenging. Now with the critical mode added, and also the balance patches that they included, also adding in the Kingdom Hearts 2 abilities, it feels like the combat system is a lot more refined, and actually feels as if like, this is honestly what we should have gotten from day one. Like, this is the vision that the Osaka team really wanted. And just judging by what I've seen in some of those data battles, they look like a heck of a lot of fun. So I will eventually dive into that. But if you are someone who really enjoys the story aspects of Kingdom Hearts, the ReMIND DLC scenario, it'll expand upon some things and fill in some gaps. But as a whole, that's the best way to describe it. It's just like, you know what I'm saying? Because it's pretty much just a regurgitation with a different coat of paint. Anyways, from me for now, my name is NGS signing out. Shout out to the boy Corey Gryffindor for donating for us to play Kingdom Hearts 3 ReMIND. If you want to check it out, the highlights are available on my Twitch channel and my second account, NeoGameSpark 2. And I'll catch you guys later. Peace.